So hi, World of Noise podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
Rob.
Pete.
And Max from the planet U.
We're gonna ask them some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired you guys to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
Oof, loaded questions right off the start. Well, I guess I'm taking the lead on this one, but just love for crazy music is kind of what was pushing me to kind of start this band. And then I met Pete. I mean, the first question, right? The legend goes that we were outside our first class in music school, and I asked the question, "Does anyone know what math rock is?" And Pete was like, "Yep, I do." And then everyone else left.
Yeah.
Because of that question?
Yeah, I mean, no one knew what we were talking about.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I guess I'll do the band name one because I think during that time Max and I were dorming together, right? Max, we were dorming together, right? Yeah. So we were dorming together, and I was listening to Captain Jazz a lot during that time period, and there was a song called "The Planet Shush," and I thought that was kind of like a cool idea, like coming up with different, like the planet this, the planet that, and then the planet U was kind of the one that seemed the most strange. So we kind of went with that one. That's kind of how it happened. So.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your newest release, Techxture. How do you felt the response to it so far?
Well, thank you so much. First of all,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. I guess it's been out for over a year now, right? The response, I mean, there's been like 2 waves of response. Because we got, like, I mean, as you guys know, we got a lot of more fans. It's kind of
we definitely have a question about that.
Yeah, but we will answer that.
But yeah, at first, I mean, we were all, I don't know if you want to get us into like the writing and stuff, but we were all really
We have
proud.
questions about that too.
Okay. So I'll just give the general overview. Overall, we're really, really proud of the record. And it was awesome to put it out into the world. And the support that we received, I would say, especially kind of recently, has kind of given us new life in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
been good. I think it's been, obviously, like, we're all kind of going through this pandemic thing right now. So, I mean, like, I think we're just happy that we were able to put something out like before everything kind of shut down, just so we can kind of use the time we have now to kind of make something new. So yeah, I think we're pretty happy with just, making it and having fun with it. So
For sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
So is there any meaning behind the name or the cover art for that record?
Robbie, you came up with the name, right?
Yeah, so
Put you on the spot.
I remember we were in practice, and Pete was like, he wants to make this is the first record where we actually had like a concept to it. So from the beginning to the end, it was a story going on, and Pete was really going on about, like, he wants it to go kind of like, from like nature, like, just a bland, what everything is, just nature, and then goes right into like a technology of what we are today now. So so dependent on technology. And basically what I thought of was technology and nature. And then when you put that together, tech, the nature, and then it just went to texture. And so it just kind of blended very well. And I was just like, why don't we call it Techxture? Since it's like kind of both like technology and nature and like blended together. And they were like, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's where the name came from.
Yeah, definitely clicked with us when he said that. And we loved, like, kind of how it, it sounds like a word that already exists, but you spell it a different way, and it's the first thing that comes up on Google. So
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
helpful.
Yeah. And then the cover art. So our friend Taylor Adams, who's a really, really good artist, and he also runs a pedal company called Deep Space Devices, which is really cool. He does all like the design work for the pedals. So he has a really big background, like working with that kind of stuff. And I'm not really sure like what the concept was, like when we like first brought him the idea. I mean, I don't really remember, like, I know
like,
yeah, what's up?
sorry to cut you off, Pete. Well, it's
No,
like I mean, we were talking like this idea of like technology and nature, like what's the best way to display these kinds of things, and And Taylor's awesome, so he gave us
Yeah.
like 8 sketches like of different concepts up front. And we saw like the whole like cows falling out of the sky thing.
Yeah.
And we totally fell in love with it like immediately. It's so like at
It
least
seems so bizarre that it just had to be that,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Solid. All right. Great. So as you guys mentioned already, a unnamed artist, I won't say their name, actually claimed your music along with other bands and artists' music and posted it as their own. I have 2 questions for you. Firstly, how did you learn that happened? And are you guys going to be taking any legal action? Because they did make money off of your work, your hard work. So what was that like? And what's the next step if you haven't already taken it?
So Max can answer the first part, and I can answer the second part.
Yeah, sure. And Robbie, just chime in wherever you feel like.
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
So we found out because I guess there was a concert done through Minecraft, which I thought was a really cool idea when I found out.
Also, how do you do that? Like,
yeah, interested in that.
I was like, what? Like, that's
But-
what you can do.
It's pretty cool.
So my other band, Lawn Chairs, we got a direct message from Knife Punch Records, the guys who put together the whole thing, pretty much asking and making sure, because they tried to, it was a Twitch stream, and I guess they tried to upload it to YouTube.
Mhm.
And once they uploaded it to YouTube, the video got copyright struck by, I guess, Lawn Chairs, right? My band. And so they reached out, kind of just been like, hey, I listened to your music. It sounds exactly the same. I just wanted to make sure, like, is this you guys under a different name? And it was like very considerate, very considerate message.
Mhm.
And of course, things just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. I mean, if that guy never reached out, I mean, they could have been out there for who knows how long. I mean, we never would have known. It was like total chance,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I think the most impressive part of the entire thing is that Content ID picked up on a band so small.
Yeah. I mean, we were definitely disappointed that like Spotify didn't say anything first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
it's kinda
something.
weird.
But yeah, we were glad that someone noticed.
Yeah.
And to add to that, somebody from Rate Your Music like emailed us. I don't know if it was like Max. It was like a moderator. Like, I don't know. I'm not really familiar
Yeah.
with that website.
Well, they were
Yeah, it was-
blowing up on that, so
Yeah, exactly. So one
Yeah.
of their mods hit us up in planetu@gmail.com, and it was like,
Yeah.
hey, just wanted to say, like, I noticed your album is like trending, but it's not your album, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, you might want to just like look into this. I just wanted to call it to your attention, like, that this seems really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, luckily it got sorted out.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, Pete, did you want to take it from here?
Well, yeah, because I was like, so like, I obviously we don't know. Like, I think what like still like I'm like confused about is like where like all of like what scene is this? Like what scene, like music scene is this? Because like we don't recognize like any of these people, any of these bands. Like I like had no. I'm like, is this in Florida? Is this in Texas? Like, where are we, dude? Like, I'm lost, man. Like, I really don't know. So that was like the first thing that was kind of weird. I was like, this came out of nowhere. And then like the legal action thing, like we don't know this person at all. And like, I don't even know if this person is like over the age of 18. Like, I feel like this person might still be in high school or something. So like Robbie and I, we're like public school music teachers. Like,
Right.
taught kids that age. So we're just kind of like, like people make mistakes, man, and it's fine. And like, we're at the end of the day, we're like a small band anyway. Like, and I think we're just like really grateful that like at least more people like know who we are now, like, from this, like if for like the positive look on it, and it's like, it's all good. I think if you guys want to like add anything to that, I don't know, like your feelings, but that's all I think.
I think that like the good thing that came out of this was just the amount of support that we saw from everyone with this, because a lot of people were blowing up like, yo, check this out. And I mean, the legal thing, we don't like, it's like Pete said, we don't know who this person is, how old. So at this point, we're just kind of like, you know what, just forget about it. Like, we got back the money that they made. So it's fine. So like, as long as, they're, because from what we saw, they took everything down right that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
They
it
cowered
was very
quick. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, at that point, we don't want to ruin someone's life financially just because of a little,
Sure.
a mistake like this.
that that's
Yeah.
kind of, I'm glad you said that, Robbie, because that kind of is like my perspective on this. It's like, like we don't want to take any kind of legal action, because if you take this to court, then it's going to be really expensive for not just them, but also for us, right? It's going to be way more money than either of us have ever gotten off of music, right? In general. And like the last thing we want to do, is like put someone into debt, or put someone's family into debt, over something like this.
For our little math rock album.
Yeah. And so,
like it's like
in reality, the outreach of the community, I mean, like all the donations we received, I mean, all the people sharing our music, it was like, honestly, it was incredible. And you guys as well. I mean, Shane and Glory, right, on Twitter, also repping us and stuff. Really appreciate that.
Rapping it. Yeah. No, thank you for that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys got the money back, and Twitter certainly took care of the person that did it in terms of like letting them know that this is fucked up and you should never do it again. So I think they don't need to get sued to have learned their lesson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh wait, I actually have one more question. I forgot to ask it. What were like your first reactions when you heard that your music was stolen? Were you like angry? Were you sad? What?
We could talk about this all day. It's
honestly
so interesting
I'm so
to
curious.
me.
Yeah.
So I was in the middle of teaching because me and Pete are public school teachers.
Yeah.
So I was teaching a class, and we have a group chat, and I forgot who wrote first, but they're like, "Yo, did you guys see this?" And they're like, "Yo, this person is using our music," and I'm like, I looked, and I was in the middle of teaching. I just started laughing. I was just like,
no.
I don't know, because I was just like, whoa. So like, I kind of felt like I was like, really? Someone wants to take our music and sell it off? I'm like,
we made it.
Cool.
It's just something that would never happen. Like when I saw it, I was like, whoa, this is serious. And then like I looked at it, I'm like, oh wait, they're literally just taking our music.
Yeah, they're just copying.
And like they changed. So then like I remember calling Robbie, and we were just like laughing hysterically. Like we were just like out of all the bands, like us on a Tuesday, right before I'm about to teach third grade recorder, like right now.
It's almost an honor,
Yeah.
We're honored to have had our music stolen.
Yeah, not that I'm honored.
I think at first it was like urgency, like, oh my goodness, like I wonder where else our music is, that their name. And we were kind of like, Max is like the emails kind of person, so he's like sending all these emails, and Bobby and I are laughing in the background. So
so they were laughing. I was panicking from the first moment. Yeah, well, because it was me and my drummer for the other band. He found out at the same time, and like you guys know, it wasn't just this band that was affected by this. So like, there's a whole range of responses across the bands of like, people like laughing hysterically, or people like really screaming for bloody murder on the lawn chairs end, but thankfully everything calmed down. I mean, the first thing that I did was just file all the legal claims to take down the material. And I mean, I don't even know if I needed to do that, because as everyone knows, as soon as this kind of went public, the person in question kind of just took everything down on their own accord. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up the first response.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was expecting the answers to be all around like panic or anger, not giggles and holy shit.
No, it depends on which band you're interviewing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like
I know both, so
at least like seeing it on the timeline, I was in complete and utter shock. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And it was like, I think it was just like you guys in lawn chairs that got caught first, and then as it started to snowball and a list began to build, I was like losing my mind. By the time I got home from hanging out with my girlfriend at the end of the night, there was a whole document of
there was a
bands and
document
albums that got stolen. I was like, holy shit.
We never used Twitter. Like never used Twitter at all. Like I think we made it like 6 years ago when we started being the band, and then like it was kind of like, I don't want all these apps on my phone, so I only would go on Twitter to like maybe look at it just to see if anything. And it's always like this person followed this person. I'm like, whatever. So then like when Knife Punch reached out to us, they were like, oh, we're gonna make a post on Twitter, and I was like, Twitter, okay. And then I go on Twitter, and then suddenly it's like mayhem. At least from our end, it felt like mayhem. And then like I'm teaching throughout the day. I keep going back on Twitter, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. I was like, what? This is crazy. It's really crazy, like how it like spreads so quickly. Like it's just weird to me.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, to speak to what Pete's talking about, like, it's kind of funny. Like, you look at the post, the last post we made before everything went down, it's like two likes or something, and like the day of it was like 20 retweets, like 100 likes on this. It was like, whoa. So I mean, it was really nice to have such an amazing community outreach. I mean, like, I'm so glad that that our music spoke to that many people, that they felt the need to really like reach out to us. I mean, I saw someone post a video of them like playing one of my guitar parts on Twitter, and I was like, whoa. It's so
That's
cool.
Awesome.
So it felt really good.
DIY is great at supporting the supporting artists. So
definitely. And it's so interesting to see, Max, that you had like both sides of the spectrum, because you had like people laughing about it, and then you had your other band just like screaming and just like panic. It's amazing to just see how two different groups react to something like that.
Yeah, well, people in different places in their lives and stuff too, and I mean, to be fair, lawn chairs are actually videos of us were put up, and pictures of us were put up. So there was also like the whole privacy concern, and our singer was like, they're using pictures of me, this is absolutely ridiculous, and all this stuff.
But that's like a stolen identity. That's like his identity was taken. So that I can understand that. I think what made me laugh was that because they put up both the albums within a week of each other or something like that.
Exactly.
And they sounded so different from each other. And I'm just like, how did they pull this off? But then you see that, like, how many people followed them, and we're just like, did we do something wrong? How is this person like?
That was
what marketing are they doing?
Crisis, like inside of myself, like oh my goodness, like this person needs to help us market our music.
Like, so you can see it now. You guys laughing why we were like, what?
Because like I don't know, man. It's wild, but I thought it was really funny, like the names that they put on our album.
Oh my god,
it's just a little different. It was just like one letter different.
They were really not trying to hide it, even when they would steal the cover art and stuff. But the thing I found the funniest was that hours before this news broke, they had posted a video. I think it was a lawn chairs session or something that they posted, like working on my camera work, and then hours later it came out that they had been stealing everything. I was like, wow, that's ironic.
I mean, how could they have predicted that some YouTube thing was going to snag that, the copyright claim, and that they were going to directly message us at the same time?
Who knows how long, like, if that didn't happen, they would have continued to go on doing that.
That's really
exactly.
So I'm just glad that it's over now.
Definitely,
very glad to have the support of this new community, and I'm looking forward to seeing what adventures it brings in the days to come.
Definitely,
we had them lie to us for 12 minutes in an interview.
Except we interviewed them, and it was so bad. They just lied about everything, and they just made stuff up on the spot. And watching it back, like the day that they were exposed that it happened, it was so funny, because it's like you could see them stuttering and like them just like kind of looking everywhere, just like trying to make something up on the spot and trying to tell us like where their headspace was while writing stuff. And they're just like, oh well, I don't know. It was so long ago. It was so long ago when I did it, and it was just like the audacity. I don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure it didn't feel good to feel like you'd been tricked into believing this person. So I feel bad for the community.
All right. Well, we've drilled this topic enough into the ground. I think we could talk about it all day too. So back to your record. What was your writing process like for this album?
This was a cool way that we wrote, because I know the guys can talk about it their way. So when I joined the band, because I was the last to join the band, and while we were writing previous to this album, they were mostly writing stuff together. So Max and Pete were writing stuff on guitar and bass, and then they would bring it to me, and then I would alter the song in like a new way, by maybe changing the grooves on the drums and stuff like that. So we did that for like the first two albums, but then for this one, we really wanted to kind of sit down and write together. Like, we wanted to see how that would be. So we were supposed to go on tour and we actually ended up that we couldn't, and we all took a week off because we wanted to go on tour. But since the tour got canceled, we were just like, why don't we just for one whole week meet up like a 9 to 5 day and just write like a job. And that's basically how most of this.
We came with our ties on.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know, we brought our bagged lunch and everything, but but we basically wrote the whole album that way. And there's actually a few songs on the album that are completely improvised. So there's 3 songs on that album that is just, we were just sat in a room and our engineer just went, go, and that's what you hear.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Wait, so was it one take improvised or just like you did something random and then?
Yeah, it was. So
which tracks?
So what were they? Perigee, Anshiota. Was there another one? I think it was just those two.
No, okay, so Erosion was just basically Erosion is not a jam, but it kind of is in a sense. It's a very formatted jam because it's just 2 chords. The whole song is just 2 chords. Yeah. And we're just really just kind of watching each other and following each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and the reason why we did that, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen us live, but live performances, because we're all jazz musicians. We all went to school for jazz. Mm-hmm. And the big element of jazz is improvisation. And we want to bring that into our live performances. So every single song that you basically hear live, the transitions are basically improvised. So we wanted to do the same thing for this album, kind of like, you know, a live type of thing. I don't know if you guys want to add on to that.
That's like our constant struggle. I feel like we're trying to capture the live sound in the studio and it never works. It didn't really work this time either, but I think we're getting there. I mean, I love that we put some completely improvised material on there because like Robbie was saying, you come to our live shows, chances are you're going to hear some stuff that you're never going to hear ever again or before that, you know.
Yep.
That's kind of all I have to say about it.
Yeah. Kind of what they were saying too. Like, you know, I think this record specifically was kind of like, we were actually talking about the other day, like we've only released 3 full lengths, and this one is definitely the one that I think we took the most serious, at least like in terms of like production, you know. Victoria Seeger, our producer and engineer, she's been working with us for a few years now. She comes to a lot of our live shows, and you know, she grew up with Robbie, so she knows our sound really well and kind of knows who we are. And I really think on Techxture, like, you know, like the improvised sound, you know, like she really caught that just from coming to our shows and kind of like understanding like what we might do when it comes to improvise. Like either I'll follow Robbie, Max will follow me, or vice versa. And it's kind of like being able to at least pick up like that energy in the room, I think is kind of always the challenge. But I think on Techxture, like the songs that we wrote, I think we took those seriously. And then the improvised songs, I think we captured that live sound as best we could without really doing any editing to it. So,
yeah.
So you guys definitely have like an insane connection between the 3 of you to like be able to pull that off and make it seem like it wasn't just improvised.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, it's good to see, being jazz musicians, we have to be able to read each other very well. Mm-hmm. Like as a drummer, I need to be able to pick up what each person's doing. And then me and Pete, because he's a bass player, we have to be locked in. So a lot of times me and him have just sat and just played together. And he also plays drums as well. So he knows what he's kind of anticipating what I'm doing. I'm anticipating what he's doing. So me and him feed off each other very, very well. So that's why the groove is very tight with us. And Max is just, you know, an unbelievable shredder and great chords and everything that it just all completes each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And Max and Pete are both guitarists. So they know both, but they both know how to read each other that way as well. So we are all reading each other. So that's
And Pete kind of mentioned this before, but like Pete and I lived together for a little while. So, you know, there was that connection there, and we really were playing like every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting the reps in. How it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wildly impressive. All right. So I want you 3 to tell me your favorite lyric off of this album and the meaning behind it.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I can't even. I'm really bad with lyrics.
Let me go to our airplane.
Oh man, I don't even.
I love when
Dude,
you
I
always have to
don't
pull
even know
up.
what you say.
Very big question that
I love when the
Max,
artists
do
have
you
to
have
pull
one?
up their lyrics. It's
Hold
hilarious.
on. Let's go. Hold on. Let's do this.
I also don't know if we're really like at liberty to talk about what the meaning is. You know, I'm one of those people that once it's out there, I kind of like to let people attach their own meaning to things.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I feel bad. I don't have like a favorite lyric, but there's definitely some favorite moments on the album. And I would say most of those favorite moments come from the song "Wash the Sun Off So I Can Become Air."
Okay.
So I will give that song a special shout out.
Ooh, ooh.
I can like I can talk about like the concept of the lyrics because I wrote all the lyrics for this one. Well, I guess while Robbie's looking, so like the first song we wrote was Nomad, right? That was the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wrote lyrics to that song, and like on our other records, every time it came, the time came for me to sing in the studio, I never really had lyrics that, like, I had lyrics, but I didn't know how I was gonna like sing them exactly. So when I would go like on our self-titled record, there's a few vocal lines on that record that one weren't performed very great, and then also it was kind of like the melody wasn't exactly maybe what I wanted, but it
was like on the spot.
Yeah, it was a lot of on the spot with that record. But with Techxture, I spent a lot of time, probably more time on the vocals than anything else, because I really wanted, with this kind of music that we play, it's really easy for like the instruments to kind of overshine the vocals because the instruments are doing so many things, like it's always just a lot going on, kind of jarring. So with this record, I really wanted the lyrics to be a little bit more at the forefront. And like, I guess kind of the whole concept is it's kind of based around a character where, it's kind of like us, like where we kind of can remember a time without the internet being so prominent, like back in middle school and elementary school, like the internet was not something that I think was as used as it is today, like Facebook and Instagram and all these things. And it's kind of about like this character having kind of the issue of like not wanting to use technology and wanting to kind of go back to that time, but then coming to terms with the fact that like the world isn't going to stop progressing. So like you kind of have to adjust if you want to be able to like communicate and like make connections and like, be able to do things. So, and I see that a lot with like my like older relatives, like them, it's really like hard to watch them try and understand the internet and like understand how to like use all of these things that they probably didn't even dream of back then, that a computer would exist or something like that. So kind of like teetering on that concept throughout the whole record, kind of questioning that and being kind of existential. So yeah.
Robbie, did you find a lyric?
I did. And so in Watch the Sun, what's life without a concept? And let me tell you, I'm just saying, so me and Max just legit sat in the studio and just screamed this as loud as we could. And I just say that, I've never sung on a song before. So that's why, I feel good about that part, because legit me and Max were just like, what is life without a concept?
Sing your
we're
heart
just
out,
like divas in the studio doing it. So
sing it out.
There you go.
And I'll throw in a lyric because I didn't say one. It's from Cloud Emissary. I understand how your words mean two things at once. I understand the systemic pressures of a messenger's tongue. And I love how that's kind of like, it's to me, I mean, I don't know exactly what Pete meant when he first wrote it, but to me, it really speaks to like anxiety and how like just having the expectation that you're about to say something can really change what you're going to say. And no matter what you say, everyone's going to take it in different ways.
Got it right, brother.
On the head. Let's go.
Yeah.
So where was your headspace at writing this? I would assume it's like almost kind of in line with that concept that you keep on talking about behind the record.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you listen from our beginning to now, our instruments, like the way we play instruments and our sound, it continuously changes.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, especially drum wise, I was going more towards like this one we're trying to really just kind of play it out, not really as mathy as we were before, but we were trying to be more I don't know how to say it,
cohesive,
I guess more straightforward in a way. Like we said that we've gone from a math rock band more to like a prog rock band, you know, because we were not trying to do what the generic math rock bands are doing, more the tapping and more the crazy stuff, but we are now
let's not call anyone out.
Oh no, I'm not calling no one out. I'm just saying you know, because that's what you do here within this genre a lot. That's what's big. But we kind of like we're like we want to step aside musically and try to write this in more of a way of what we're feeling, you know. I guess I don't know.
I mean, I guess I can't speak for the others, but I'll tell you, like when I was writing the songs for this, like when I wrote Nomad or like Cloud Emissary, like I was in a pretty bad place at the time, and like Cloud Emissary specifically, like I thought that song was garbage, and I thought that I would never do anything with it, and then I just brought it to the band kind of on a whim during that week that we were just writing stuff, and it, you know, because of their work on it, it quickly became like one of my favorite songs on the album. So yeah, I don't think I was in the best place, but it kind of pushed me to write more. I mean, like Nomad, I think is still one of the best songs I've ever written. Mm-hmm. And that's really because I just sat down and was working at it like every day for like a month, just trying to figure out where to go with it, what sounds good, how to make it flow here or there. A lot of these songs, you know, it took so long just to piece them together, what like the basic structures are going to be.
Yeah. And I think the one song that like took me forever was Electric Lesson, which so I wrote that whole song on my acoustic guitar, and that song was hard because at the time I was teaching at the first school I was teaching at, like right out of college, and your first year of teaching is really hard, like mentally, just, you know, trying not to take things personally, trying to do something to make sure the kids are, you know, they enjoy your class and they're learning and they're, you know, they enjoy being there and feel safe. And that was really hard because when you're a first year teacher, you're like, oh my goodness, you know, you feel so overwhelmed with everything you have to do. And you don't really feel prepared. And when I was teaching, I would bring my guitar to school because I taught choir and I taught, you know, instrumental music class. So I'd bring my guitar to school, and Electric Lesson, like a lot of that song was written in school. So like I would be on lunch duty and I'd be working on that song. And it's kind of funny. Like I remember, like, you know, kids would be around, like just listening, just being like, oh, hey, Mr. D, what's up? And, you know, I remember thinking like, man, like this, like, when is this song going to end? Because it just felt like so long and long. I was like, I can't figure out a way to end this where it feels right. And then I just kept writing it over and over a few months, and then it kind of came together. But whenever I think about that song, that's why it's called The Electric Lesson, because it makes me think of school, it makes me think of being in school. So yeah.
And I think that song in particular is really cool because I don't know, I mean, you didn't mention it, but I remember you actually started that song in the middle. He brought like this 5-minute idea ish, like, to me, and it's like started on this really like what became the middle of the song, and I was like, this doesn't like sound like an intro at all. This sounds like something that you'd hear like as a break. Then so he just went back and he kept writing more.
It was like I had like one piece of the map and I had to like find, like, scavenge my way to the other parts of it to figure out how to get back to where I was. You know, it was confusing. Like I don't know if I could do that right now. Like, I don't know.
I
had a lot of patience.
All things considered, I'm really proud of how it came out. I think we pieced it together very well. I get to take multiple solos in that song, so
man, take it easy. Yeah, I think the song's too short. You know, I think it needs to be
double it.
Easily.
Throw in another 15 solos for Max.
Max just needs to really
say what he needs to say.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll finally be good enough.
All right.
Wonderful.
So the extended version will be on the next album then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Count on it.
Version.
All right.
The 26 minute. Yeah.
So while listening to this album, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you?
Yay, we can talk about influences now. Pretend.
Wow.
Pretend is like one of my favorite bands ever. And I was hardcore listening to them. When I wrote the opening riff to Nomad, I have no shame in saying I really was just trying to do Pretend, and I just sped it up. I just sped it up, and that's the opening of Nomad. So I was really, really into Pretend, and I think that I always have to mention Fall of Troy because they're a huge inspiration for me, particularly for this band because of that style and that energy.
Definitely.
I think for me, so I'm not into math rock like that. I'm actually more metal guy. So but for this album I was really, so at this time I was really into the Dillinger Escape Plan. So there are a lot of parts in there where I'm doing a lot of syncopated stuff, but then I was also heavily listening to Fugazi, and that's where I got a lot of those creative, more kind of simple grooving drum parts, but adding more of the kit in. So I'd say for this album, it was like a mixture of Fugazi and Dillinger for sure for me.
Okay.
I don't really remember exact. I mean, I'm sure like Max was saying, like the Fall of Troy was probably. I just recently started listening to them again and just being like, man, this band's so good. But I mean, I would say maybe maybe the Mars Volta, but I feel like I was listening to them like.
Was that Dismemberment era? Dismemberment Plan?
Yeah,
era,
it might. Yeah, so I'd probably say like Dismemberment Plan was a band that I was probably like just starting to really, really get into. But yeah, I don't really remember like specifically, but it always changes, but it's always the same couple bands that they cycle, you know? So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while going through the album?
I don't want to impose any feelings on anyone.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, Max. Tell us what you feel.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you feel like you got some energy in you, and sometimes you feel, you know what? I want to feel to people like they've been like on a journey. That's always my goal, right? Like from beginning to the end of the album, like I hope that you can experience all the highs and the lows of the album. I really think that we hit a lot of different places. We used a lot of different instrumentation that we've never touched, like acoustic guitars and violins, and pianos and stuff, and like, so yeah. An adventure. That's what I would say. I want you to feel.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the spirit of prog. I mean, the spirit of like progressive music is like adventure. Like, you ever listen to like the old Yes records or like King Crimson? You know, even Mars Volta, right? It's always just like, well, Mars Volta is more like a crazy space journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair. All right. So this one should be super, super fast. Off the top of your heads, I want you both, you three, to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words.
3 words. Ugh.
As fast as you can.
Hard, fast, and good.
Dude.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
God,
Oh my god. I need to write it down. I'm gonna
Top of my head. Just go.
Oh yeah.
You said fast.
chaotic, I don't know, insightful. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
wow.
good.
Good.
Yep.
Right.
Introspective.
Ooh.
Big words.
Just go for the scholarly approach.
Jarring.
Ooh.
And, beautiful.
Pete, you're really showing off that you're a school teacher right now.
Yeah, right.
Didn't even use good.
Just show me up, guys.
Come on, man.
I got that bachelor's, you know.
I'm like 1-syllable words, elementary school level.
Well, Max,
He came off at the top of the
Shame.
cup.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
came
You
quick.
actually followed the rules, Max. It's supposed to be off the top of your head. Everyone else
Thank you for
got a
that.
chance
He
to
didn't say
think.
yeah, we
Hey,
said
man.
so
Well,
you got it.
I hope when you think of the Planet you think hard, fast, and good.
That's the goal.
Oh, God.
So, where do you guys see this band in the next 5 years? And are you guys working on anything new that you might be able to spill the beans on? And when I say if you're working on anything new, you have to spill the beans.
Well, in 5
Tell us
years, I can
everything.
see us eating some White Castle. I could see that.
I will not be doing that. I have silly ecstasy to not have White Castle.
White Castle? Come on.
Oh, man, you don't know it.
Honestly, man, in 5 years, I hope we're still together. First of all, I mean that'd be 11 years as a band in
God damn.
5 years. Yeah, so I'll be happy with that. Maybe on the road. I mean, hopefully this COVID thing ends soon, and before that we'll be on the road. But 5 years, yeah, I'd like to say we're somewhere out there. And yes, I mean, guys, stop me if I've said too much, but yeah, we're working on new material.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually we've been like, I don't want to say too much. We're
God
working on
damn
a
it.
release. There will be a release in the near future,
A release.
Near
Very
future.
in the coming months, even.
Okay.
Months. Okay.
2021.
Max, you made me excited. Great. This is awesome.
Can't wait.
Tell me more.
Just sprinkle in the intrigue.
Tell me everything.
See, I hope we can finally freaking tour, because I feel like every tour we try and book, it's just like
We've had one good tour.
it's literally
Yeah.
so difficult. Like,
Eh,
how
no,
people
I
book
think
these tours, man.
Well, I mean, Robbie, when I say one good tour, you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And when you say two good tours, it's like, well, that second one, it could be a number of different ones, but there was only one like good tour, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're still together. I think we will be.
Yeah.
I
think
hate these
so. Why
guys.
not? Why not? And then also, hopefully we just. I think we're trying to release our 4th full-length record. I think that's the goal, but we're just like I think we're taking our time, because our writing process is very different right now, because we haven't, it's COVID, and we haven't really, it's not like we can get together all the time. So we've been bouncing off more ideas.
It's been a lot of like throw a bunch of stuff at the board and just see what sticks kind of methods.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of actually writing like remotely. Like I'll be sending stuff, off of GarageBand to throw it to them. They'll throw it back. So we're throwing ideas that way. So we haven't really done that before in a way. So so there's a lot of new coming right now. But so we'll see.
All right.
Yep.
So
for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
6. So we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Very big
With the
boom.
drink.
With a
Woo.
drink. Don't forget the drink. It's very, very important.
Inspiration roll, ramen noodles with some Junmai sake on the side.
Solid.
You've thought of this before, haven't you?
Here he has.
Well, I can't eat a lot of things nowadays, but that's something that I will jump at the opportunity to eat again. So if I'm going to die, then damn right, I'm going to go out in style.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would say probably I want a platter of mozzarella sticks with a grilled cheese and a tall glass of Dr. Pepper.
That's a solid meal.
Alright.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Mhm.
For me, it would probably be a bowl of spicy tonkatsu, and then a plate of pasticcio, and then probably a slice of key lime pie, and then a Coke.
That
Alright.
sounds great.
That'd be what I do.
I'm surprised you're not saying some kind of soup in there.
Well, spicy tonkatsu is kind of like
Okay, it's got the
That's-
broth.
that's
that
like
works.
the soup of all soups,
Mhm.
Okay.
to me at least.
Personally, yeah.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
Whoa.
It just set in.
Big question. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, that's a crazy question. Okay. I would say Peaky Blinders.
So true. That's my answer too.
Yo, right? Yeah.
I just started watching that.
It's
Oh,
so
good.
Oh my
So
God.
good. Yeah.
Don't get
I-
attached to anybody.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
no spoilers, no spoilers.
No
I won't.
spoilers.
Oh, God,
But
never.
no, that's yeah. So if that's a world, I was just like,
Yeah.
I mess with that.
Mhm. Do you think you'd survive the whole week? Because I'm pretty sure I'd die in the first like 2 days.
Nah, I'd say something wrong, and then I'm getting the full hat to the eye. So
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But just to say, I was there.
Exactly. You get to meet Tommy. That's like that's all that matters.
Yeah.
How like dangerous that world is made me think of how much I actually would love to go to Futurama for a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be
year
cool.
3000.
makes sense.
Yeah, the future has always like intrigued me, and that show is just one of my favorite shows ever.
For sure.
I mean, I feel like going to this world would be pointless because it's kind of like our world, but I would want to go to Death Note and or like
You would want to panic.
Please no.
No, that was good. That was good.
I'd want to go to Death Note, but if I were to go to there, I would want to be like on L's side, trying to like crack the case or something.
Ooh.
Or the Shinigami realm, but maybe not because it looks kind of dreary.
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought you would want a Death Note. I was like, ooh, all right.
Well,
but-
This is a
maybe.
different side of you, Pete.
I feel like I would get really nervous.
You'd
You
be
know?
nervous. Yeah, that's fair. I
I
guess.
feel like I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. God of the New World. Yeah. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
That's a good question.
Maroon. Maroon is my favorite color.
So true. Maroon's a great color. Mhm.
Turquoise.
Ooh,
Really?
great color as well.
Yeah, like a
wear
greenish
turquoise.
blue. Yeah, I know, but I love the way it looks.
Mhm.
Okay.
I like blue.
Yeah.
You guys said these shades. So I'm like partially colorblind, so I have really hard time with colors, but I can see blue very well.
Hey,
So
It's a great color.
I have.
It is. Yeah.
So there you go. So yep, got
right.
that one.
great
what
color.
about, what about
That's a
you
good one.
guys? I feel like
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
asking the questions now.
Oh, man. Well, edgy.
What are your favorite colors?
Black.
Oh,
Really?
yellow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. If you want
Yeah.
like my top 3, but I don't know. I have it.
Yo, come on, let's go. Top
Oh.
3.
Please.
Okay,
I'd love to-
yellow, red, blue.
Yellow, red, blue.
Okay.
Primary?
Primaries,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
They're
see what-
yeah,
classics. Yeah.
dude. I mean, all colors derive from them, so it's pretty much saying I like all the colors.
Exactly.
There you
Blue's
go.
cool.
Huh.
And then Shane, you said black, right?
Yes.
I know it's not
It's the absence of color.
According
about-
But
to-
no, it's a
Black,
mixture.
blue.
No, it's a mixture of all the colors, right? Is that what it is?
It depends if we're talking about light or paint. I
Ah.
learned
Now we're
that
gonna
the
get
other day.
technical.
I went to the museum and this is what I learned. So.
The more you know.
Well,
But the planet you.
I seriously hope you'd be learning at least something at the museum. So glad you took something away. So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Wow.
Choke Artist. Go check out Choke Artist Records.
Yes.
Joe Scala. He is the. Oh, I don't know if I. Can you guys cut out that I said his name? I don't know if he wants people knowing that that's him, but
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
yeah, sure.
but people know it's him. So Choke Artist. Go check out Choke Artist. Korean
Taylor
culture.
Adams. Check out his artwork and his stuff that he's doing. He's a good friend, like we talked about before. But yeah, check out Taylor Adams.
All right.
Yep, they got it covered.
Sick. So nothing about,
and,
your socials or anything?
No, I would say Victoria Seagriff. If you want a good engineer, and yeah, she's worked with all of our stuff. So yeah, Victoria Seagriff.
If you search our name on the internet, you'll find what you need to find. So we're
Easy to find.
there.
Yeah, that's fair.
It exists.
Yeah, you know
All right.
what? I'll plug one more. Good Noise Podcast.
Thank you, Max.
Thank
Check
you,
them
Max.
out.
Yeah.
I know you're watching it, but also go and check it out.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with us, guys. It's been the Planet U, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.